Hello, it is Thursday, and just so that y'all don't think I wear the same thing literally all the time, I was like, let me go ahead and get a little video in before I put on my handy dandy hoodie to go on my daily walk. But it's Thursday, and guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna do some ritual. We're gonna do new moon ritual. Gonna walk, no, what is it? Full moon, new moon? I don't even know. It's Gemini, so it has to be new moon. Because, no, it has to be a full moon because it's Sagittarius season, which means that the full moon would be in the opposite sign. So we're gonna do a full moon ritual tonight. Gonna walk y'all through that. I think I said I was gonna do that the last time and did not do it. I say I'm gonna do a lot of things and don't get around to it because my days just run into each other. But that is the plan for today. So I need to go on a walk, come back. We're gonna do ritual, and then that's probably gonna be it for this video because I'm starting to get a little burnt out making videos. I don't know how people vlog all day and edit and get all that done. I'm just like, wow, now I see why, you know, they do a daily vlog, they do a little maybe intro, do a little some, maybe a little what I ate, and then like they sit down and talk about a topic or something that's going on for a couple of minutes, and then that's it. Because actually, like, you know, people really, you know, when they're like, oh, I'm boring, you know, vloggers will say, oh, I'm boring, I don't know why y'all want to follow me. And I'm like, you're not boring. Personalities are interesting. But I'm realizing that when you're going through your day-to-day of the norm, it feels boring. Like, I have not left the house. Today was the first day I left the house. I had to go into the office. I had not left the house since Saturday. My friend came over here to spend time with me. I was in the house getting stuff done. I would go on walks. I think I went to CVS one day this week. Like, it's Thursday and I've been in the house since Saturday. So, yeah, I can see why people are like, it's difficult to vlog every day, especially when you are an introvert and a homebody and maybe you're not doing that much. My weekends will stay full, but my weeks can be very empty, and I like it that way because I get tired. And also, though, who needs to be spending all that money? I do budget videos. Who needs to be spending all that money? Who needs to be doing all those things? So, yeah, that's where we are. But let's see. I was going to say, oh, tomorrow this video will be coming up. I don't know where this is going to go into the sequence of videos, so I'm not even going to pretend like I know what video will be coming up tomorrow. What I can say is we're going to go on a quick walk, then we're going to do ritual, and then that's going to be it. So I'll see y'all in just a little bit. Okay, so forever later, I'm back, ready to get started with my ritual. So we're gonna go ahead and put a candle for some fire element. We're gonna come over here to our handy dandy bookshelf. We're gonna pull cards that I'm gonna read off of. I'm gonna get Isis Oracle, Kuan Yin Oracle. This is the tarot deck I have been using lately, Dreams of Gaia. Am I going to read off of this deck? I usually don't read off of this deck, actually, but I guess, I don't know, it's here. I guess I'll read off of it. I take notes in here, and oopsie, whoopsie. It's going to all fall over now. And I take notes in here. So what I do, let me set this up some more. Set this out. This, I take my actual, like I write down all of my readings in, which I won't be sharing because those are personal. I share most things. I pull cards from here, and then I pull one card each from one of these. All right, but we're not done. We got more stuff to do to get ready. So I'm gonna head over here. Now, here's the thing. It is a, let's turn around, like, but I don't look crazy. Okay, I don't. Great. Okay, so it is a full moon in Gemini. So I would usually do something that's related to, like, my drink would be something related to Gemini. I'm not sure if I'm really feeling that though. I would do something that's like supportive of communication, clarity, being clear in the mind, which, like, I do have products. So I do have bath salts for clarity. I do have candles for clarity. I do have incense for clarity. But I don't know if I'm going to do all that because I need very low maintenance. I want y'all to actually be able to see me. There you go. Very low maintenance ritual. So I might just make some tea. Which tea would I want to make though? Do I want to make tea though? You know, I really just want some jasmine tea because I've talked about this before. I've created a wonderful association between jasmine and just being like calm, which I need because it's been stressful. I know that we're not in an emotional time. I mean, it is Venus retrograde, but it's just been stressful and I've been tired, and the jasmine tea will just put me in a calm space where I'll actually be able to focus. Ooh, okay, come on. There we go. There's a wonderful Gemini connection. Figuring out how to help myself to stay focused and not just be all over the place. So that will be what we will use the jasmine tea for, because I've already created an association there. I think that's one of the things that gets lost sometimes in doing astrology, tarot, spiritual work is, you know, people have the books and, you know, I got all the books. I got all the, this means this means that. But like creating your own personal associations is really powerful as well because it's charged up with your energy. So like figure out what works for you. Figure out what makes you feel a certain way, what helps you to be in a certain mindset, all of that fun stuff. So let's get started getting the space ready. Okay, so let me get so y'all can see me. I normally so hard to get. There we go. Okay, so I normally would also burn an incense or something like that. Right now I'm being mindful that I don't have any of my windows open or my door open, so my pets are all in here. And I just want to be sure that I'm not filling up the space with a lot of smoke or anything, because that cannot be good for my kitty cats and making sure that they have proper lung health. So won't be lighting any incense. This is my super chill, super calm full moon ritual. So what I'll be doing is I'll be pulling cards. I will be doing a 3-card spread. Let's take a look. I'll be using this deck, which this is not a good angle. There we go. I'll use this deck. I will come in here and I will try to pull all these cards out. I will shuffle these cards. And I will do a general card. Gotta get all the cards out. There's a lot of them. Okay, so I will actually shuffle them. This is just for display or an example. So I will split the deck and I'll do general card, what's happening. I'll do past. I'll do present. I'll do future, and then I'll do outcome. And then I will probably pull out some additional ones. So like if I were doing this, if this was my reading, this would be the card, 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 and this would be the card. And then if I needed more examples, I would just go move this to the side for clarifiers and pull from underneath as I wanted more clarifiers. And then I'll pull one Kuan Yin Oracle card and I'll pull one Isis Oracle card. And that's it. I'll journal on that. I'll think on that. I'll look at when it comes to, that Gemini energy, what's going on, what's happening. Let's do a little astrology talk, shall we? Okay. So, sorry, I'm messing with stuff. Okay, so full moon in Gemini. They are communicators. They take in information. They figure out what to do with that information. They're not necessarily the best interpreters all the time. Sorry, my cat's doing things. But they love learning. They love getting in information. They're like a supercomputer, right? With the super brain and the super processing. They just have the ability to take in. And they love being able to just explore, which is why they are the opposite sign of Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is all about expansion, ruled by Jupiter. And Mercury is all about expanding on thoughts and ideas. Air sign, ruled by Mercury. So they are mercurial in a sense. One of the stereotypes for Gemini is that they are two-faced, but one of the things that I have found in my work in astrology is that Geminis are not necessarily two-faced. It's just that unlike a lot of signs that want a lot of things and are interested in a lot of things, they're not necessarily always able to access that. Geminis, though, are able to. They can pretty much, if they are able to connect themselves to it, flow with it, get that information and be able to get in alignment with it, they can pretty much have whatever they want. Libras, on the other hand, sister air sign, has to balance out and weigh out and make a choice. And so although Libras can access all of these things, because they have to, they're constantly going through that judgment process of weighing out and figuring out what is the best decision for themselves. It means that they seem a little scatterbrained. They seem a little all over the place because they need to see every option, because how can you actually make a fair choice when you don't know what all of the outcomes or what all of the options are? So that's why they seem a little all over the place. So really truly give them like a narrow list. If you're like, hey, you're getting on my nerves, I need you to get it together and make a choice, Libra. Give them a narrow list, tell them to weigh the pros and cons. They'll actually be able to pick from there, and make sure that it's complete, because if you're giving them like some half-baked list of things, it's not going to work. And then Aquarius, on the other hand, while they can access everything, they're not interested in it. So that is why they come off as more of like a little bit colder and things like that, is because they're not interested in that. They are more focused, and they're more centered than both signs. And so their center comes from within, and their connection to ideas and in growth and all of that is more centered on the flow between that temperance of a balancing that happens with their emotional and their mental state. So that's just a little bit about air signs. That's a little bit about Gemini. So a Gemini full moon, when you're coming into that Sagittarius season has you wanting to be a little bit more in touch with your instincts, a little bit more in touch with your natural rhythm, to take a little bit of time to rest and prepare for the actual colder months. Now up north, they've actually had like snow and stuff, but like down here in the south, like that's not a thing. At least down here in Texas, that's not necessarily a thing, not this time of year, unless, climate change. So everything's unpredictable now. But, that's what you'd be getting prepared for. You'd be preparing for, you've done all this hard work with the harvest and with growing food so you don't, starve during the wintertime. And now, like, you're getting to that little bit of a space where it's like, okay, I'm cuddling, I'm cold, you know, I'm getting in touch with, what do I really desire? What do I want to know more about? I want to expand, I want to grow, and I have time, because back in the day, they wouldn't have been outside doing all this work that we're doing now in our society. They would have been starting to wind down, and they would have had time to do more intellectual pursuits, conversations, school, reading, and things like that. So overall expansion of how we grow, how we get to learn more, and from communications as far as the society and our institutions. So how we as a group, as a society, learn and grow, and all of the things that encompass what creates and makes culture, and how we interact and learn and grow from that culture, is all that fun Sagittarius stuff. And they want to have fun, they want to have a good time. Like, they don't want to be bogged down with all of the nitty gritty. That's Capricorns, don't worry, they'll take care of all of that. Like, our earth signs will take care of all of those minute details. Sagittarius and our fire signs are like, what gives us passion? We have to tap into that fire before we enter the coldest months, before we are able to light the flame again at the winter solstice during Yule season. And to do that, you have to be able to, and willing and courageous enough to tap into your own personal fire. What gets you excited? What gets you going? And that's why, you know, it's not a coincidence that everyone gets excited around this time, and they want to decorate, and they want to celebrate, and they want to move into that, you know, Christmas, Yule, winter solstice spirit of just celebration of having made it through another year and being prepared, hopefully, to survive the winter. When you have Gemini and that full moon, it's really asking us to take a look deeper in how we are taking in that information and what we're doing with it. You know, you're gathering up data all the time. Your body is constantly, through its senses, gathering information. And so what happens when you do that? Like, when you're tapping into your passions, when you're tapping into what gives you that spark of life, what do you do with that afterwards? Do you just like sit with it? Do you let the flame go out? Like, what do you do with that? What can you do with that? And Gemini asks us to go in and to say, how do I interpret this information? Is my system at its highest working capacity? Do I need to upgrade my programs because I'm really just not functioning at my best? And maybe that means I need a rest. Maybe that means I need to tap into the following sign of Gemini with Cancer and look at my security. Or maybe I need to tap a little bit into that Taurus energy and learn how to actually appreciate and like open up to my senses and live in that, you know, being able to allow myself to feel and to take in information. Because how do you adjust? How do you improve your overall performance? How do you assess how well you're functioning in life if you don't have any data to work from? You're just guessing. You're throwing things at the wall and hoping that they stick. That don't work for Gemini. Gemini doesn't want to do it. They want to be able, you ask them something, you tell them something, they want to Google it and tell you whether they were right or wrong. Okay? Like, they want verification, and you can't verify what you cannot empirically, which not like empiricism is important, that it has to be something that you can like measure with your senses, but like it matters. They want some of it, but they also want to have that expansion beyond that. They want to be able to say, what else is there that I might not be picking up on, and how do I do this in a way that adds some security to my life? And then how do I use all of that as a society to grow, to educate, to expand, to get in touch with the self, to travel, to do more? Don't know how many folks are going to be traveling with all this, you know, COVID stuff going on, but you know, that's the energy of the season, all right? So the only other thing I would want to say is that we do have that lovely Venus retrograde, which is going to be happening in the sign of Capricorn. And Venus and Capricorn are not necessarily like the closest of friends. Venus is all watery and earthy. It's a sign, as a planet that is connected to beauty and justice, and the beauty of justice, balance and harmony, and Venus as a symbol of our inner desire to beautify, to balance. So, I mean, if you're into aesthetics, if you're into beauty culture, if you're into all of that, you know, look at those old school ways of not just like how we use aesthetics to describe a fashion sense or like a design style, but as far as like Greek use of the word aesthetics and how important balance was in a understanding of what was beautiful, and even now in our understanding of what is beautiful, and like, you know, symmetry in the face, symmetry in the body, things like that, like a little quirk adds a little something, you know, that can be intriguing. Certain characteristics are seen as things that draw more attention and that keep our focus more. All of that ties into our understanding of what we find to be beautiful, as well as on a personal biological level, but also on a societal level, and those shifts and change. And so, you know, hello there. Okay, so editing Kamilah here, and I just wanted to say that I wanted to make note while talking about societal impact of beauty and the influences that we are definitely conditioned to see certain features as attractive or beautiful, and that this is heavily impacted by Eurocentric beauty values and overall discrimination and racism based on certain characteristics. So although yes, it is wonderful to always go back and do some research and to understand where some of these basics have come from, it's also really important that you contextualize it and that you understand some of the underlying driving factors behind these things, and that it doesn't just become something that you pull it out of time, right? You take it out of the time in which it was created and try to act like it was not influenced by those things. So always take that into account when we look at beauty standards, that we have to decolonize our idea about what is beautiful, because even though it might feel very natural to us, a lot of things that we think we might be like, I am just naturally attracted to this thing or find this thing to be beautiful, we may have been conditioned to find that to be attractive or beautiful. So attraction and beauty are really complicated topics and subjects, and they're not always discussed in that manner when talking about astrology and when talking about Venus. So I just wanted to put that in there before going on to the next topic to make sure that that is not lost in the discussion. A Venus in Capricorn is just going to think that something that is organized, effective, efficient, but also gratifying, in a sense that the work that you do has an equal and opposite output and input, you know, is going to be fabulous for that. They're going to really want that stability. They're going to want that assurance that the work that they have done is something that will last them going forth in time. I love Capricorn energy. Capricorn as a cardinal sign starts off the seasons like their friends Aries, Cancer, and Libra. Capricorn energy is just always going to be about guiding us through the return of the light, right? So fall or autumn, fall equinox is really when you're entering into that underworld. You're going through that underworld journey. You're starting to do that review of information. It's not a surprise that it's right at the end of Virgo season and starting of Libra season, because you're reviewing all of your energy or the things that you've done. You're taking measurement of what you have achieved over time, and you're starting to do that balancing act. You are entering into that first gate of the underworld in order to be able to really kind of see like what needs to be kept as we move into a new season and what needs to be left behind in the underworld. And so by the time we actually make it to Capricorn season, that's when you hit that 7th gate. That's when you're, body on the meat hook, according to Inanna's myth. And that's when you're entering into that space where, you've left behind those physical restraints and those physical responsibilities. And you're moving into that space where now you're looking more at, if I did not have any of these things holding me back, connected to me, what all would I be? What all could I be? And an important part of that myth is that you have these two beings that are able to empathize and to witness the birth of the birthing that is happening with Ereshkigal, who is the goddess of the underworld, according to the Sumerian myths, in Inanna's descent to the underworld. And through these beings being able to mirror and to be a part of and come together and breathe with and be with Ereshkigal as she is birthing, which can be interpreted as rebirth of Inanna. We see that when we are able to step outside of ourselves, but also to step outside of others and to be in a space like it's this duality, it's this lovely push and pull and call culture of being able to really say, like, when we can reflect each other, when we can not project onto others. She did not have to, Ereshkigal did not have to interpret that these beings were being able to empathize and connect with her. They were actually displaying this. They were verbalizing it. They were in action of this, right? That allows us to have that space to fully be able to be seen and to breathe and all that good stuff. And so then we are reborn, right? And we figure out what we want to pick up. We would figure out what we want to leave behind in the underworld. We are able to have that space of literal creation in the depths, in the deep, in the darkness of the subspace of the zero space, beyond the seventh gate. And then we're reborn, but then you get into that whole, like, you have to bring something back, because I think the symbol of that is that you can never fully just leave, right? There's always a part of you that will remain there, and that you make a commitment to intentionally return a part of yourself to this space to continue to do this work, so that you're constantly going through these earthly cycles of death and rebirth. So anyways, all that to say, that's what we're getting into with Winter Solstice. That's what's coming up. And that is that energy of Venus in Capricorn, because Venus is taking a look at our connections and our how we relate to ourselves, others, and the world around us, and saying, what is it that you need to examine? What needs to be left behind? What are you willing to do the hard work to actually achieve and do better and to grow? Like, what are your goals related to this, and what are you willing to do to get there? And are you willing to create space and to stand in space with others so that you're able to actually be able to help them to manifest and to achieve these things? And then in that retrograde, it's really just saying, it's that review. It's literally that review. When you look at your connections, when you look at the things that you are related to, what does that look like? Have you done the work? Are you where you want to be? What do you need to do? What do you need to leave behind? What do you need to add to? Where do you need to go from there? So that's my little astrology talk for my little full moon ritual, which I haven't even done yet. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get off. That's going to be it for today's vlog. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.